Hey guys, once again, it's Mr. Sawyer, and again, I would like to apologize for not being able to make it in person. This week has definitely been a hectic week for me, and again, I send my sincerest apologies, but at the same time, I'm also sending this information, the PowerPoint, along with this particular video. So if you would, please be sure to watch this, go over it, review it, watching time and time again, because this will be part of what you will be assessed on tomorrow. And again, I want to make sure that we're all in good shape as we prepare for our quiz on tomorrow and as we finish up this course for the semester. All right. As always, again, I want to encourage you all. Today's scripture comes from Isaiah 55:6, which says, "To seek ye the Lord while he may be found, call upon him while he is near." Understand that with where we are now in life, we have somewhere we can go to God, and that he is there to hear us and to answer our prayers. And whatever it is that we're facing, God is there to help us, in the midst of those situations. So just be encouraged that God is there. If you have a problem, go to him and let him take care of it. Today, we want to go over this review again. So just as we did last time, if you would, just pause your video right now so that you can take some time to go over these review problems. Welcome back. So now what we want to do is we want to go over these really, really quickly. When we talk about area and perimeter, one thing that's going to be very helpful for us is to draw a picture of what it is we're looking at. So I'm going to quickly go to the board so that I can draw on the board real quick so we can talk about what it is that's going on. All right. Right, we have a width of 6.3, length 6.3, and a width 2 1/3. All right. One thing that we may notice right now is that the the length is in a decimal and the width is in a fraction. So we have a choice here of how we want to change this around. Do we want to make them both fractions? Do we want to make them both decimals? I may suggest a fraction because 3/10 will be a lot easier to convert rather than 1/3, which is going to be a repeating decimal. So looking at that, 6.3 is 6 3/10. So this equals to 6 3/10. So now when we go to the perimeter, we recall from last time that our perimeter is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So what that would do for us is we're going to have 2 times 6 3/10, and we're going to also have 2 times 2 1/3. All right. So when we multiply 6 3/10 twice, that gives us 12 6/10, and then here we have 4 2/3. So what needs to happen from here in order for us to get these combined for the perimeter? What we must do is we must, first of all, add the whole numbers and then add the fractions using a common denominator. So I'm going to go to the side right here, and we have 12 6/10, and we have 4 2/3. 12 plus 4 is pretty easy. We get 16. But for these two here, we have to make a common denominator, which is 30. If you multiply 10 by 3, we get 30. So also if we multiply 6 by 3, we will get 18. Likewise, if we multiply 3 by 10, we get 30. So if we multiply 2 by 10, we get 20. So if we add 20 plus 18, that will give us 38 over 30. We have a mixed number, but we also realize that this mixed number has an improper fraction, so we can convert the 38 over 30 into an extra whole number. So this is the same thing as 17 8 over 30. And in case you all have any questions, please just shoot me an email and we can go over that. All right. This will be our perimeter. We can do the same thing in order to find the area. So we still have the same rectangle, but in this case, we want to do just simply the length times the width. All right. The area is the length times the width, 6 3/10, times 2 1/3. In order to multiply mixed numbers, we must first change both of these mixed numbers into an improper fraction. So using the rule, we have 10 times 6, which is 60, plus 3, that gives us 63 over 10. And then we have 3 times 2 plus 1, that gives us 7 over 3. So we have 63 times 7 on top. We have 10 times 3 on the bottom. All right. And from this point, we can use our help. All right. If we do 63 times 7, we get 441. If we do 10 times 3, obviously we get 30. So we have 441 over 30. But this can also be reduced because both of these are divisible by 3. So if we divide 441 by 3, that gives us 147. So this is 147 over 10, which is equal to 14.7. All right? So 14.7 square inches for the area. All right, now likewise, the same way we did number 1, we need to do number 2 in order to simplify this multiplication problem. We must first change them both into improper fractions. So again, 5 times 4 will give us 20. 20 plus 1, that's going to be 21 over 5. And also, if we have 4 times 2, that's 8. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 3 gives us 11. So we have 11 over 4. On the bottom we have 20. On the top we have 21 times 11. So if we look at 21 times 11, that's 231. So our final answer is going to be 231 over 20. And it's okay for us to leave our answer as a mixed number. Hopefully there are no questions about that. If so, again, just let me know. Today we want to talk about square roots. And a square root, if a number can be written as the product of two identical numbers, then the two factors are considered square roots of the original number. All right? The symbol, this radical sign is the symbol used for a square root. Some numbers have square roots that are integers and others do not. If it does not have an integer value, we can use the calculator to approximate what the square root would be. So we know that one number that has a square root, for example, is the number 4. And the reason why is because we can multiply 2 times 2, and when we do 2 times 2, that gives us 4. So 2 times 2 equals 4. So the square root of 4 equals 2. Because 2 times 2 equals 4, then we can say that the square root of 4 equals 2, because that number can be multiplied twice in order for us to get 4. So we have a couple examples here. If we look at the number 25, are there two numbers that can multiply to equal 25? The answer is yes, so our square root of 25 will be 5. Likewise with 144, we know that, okay, we have 12 times 12, that equals 144. So that'll be 12. Now, when we have a number like 31, there's not two integers that perfectly work for that. So here's where we would use our calculator to simply type in the square root of 31. And we would get approximately 5.57. Approximately 5.57. And we can do the same thing with square root of 18. And it's about 4.24. The reason that we're discussing square roots is because square roots is helpful in us using a rule that we should be pretty familiar with, that we've seen before when dealing with right triangles, and that rule is the Pythagorean theorem. And this can be used to find the length of missing sides. The Pythagorean theorem simply states that a squared plus b squared equals to c squared, where a and b represent the two sides that make the right angle, and c is the side that we call the hypotenuse. All right, so we have a squared plus b squared equals to c squared. And let's use this in action. Here we want to find the missing sides here. So notice we have 5, we have this blank side, and again our hypotenuse, which is c, is 13. So what I'm going to do, we're going to say this is a, this is b, and this is c. So we have a squared plus b squared equals to c squared, giving us 5 squared plus b squared equals to 13 squared. 5 squared gives us 25 plus b squared. 13 times 13 gives us 169. If we subtract 25 from both sides, we get that b squared is 144. So in order to solve this, we take the square root of 144, which we said was 12. So the missing side would be 12 units long. Here, this one is a little bit different. What we have this time is we have both of the legs, but we do not have our hypotenuse. So we need to use the same formula, except we're going to set it up a little bit differently. A, B, C. So this time, we have 5 squared plus 10 squared equals c squared. That'll give us 25 plus 100 equals c squared. So we have the square root of 125 for our answer. And then when we do the square root of 125, we will again use our calculator. So our answer is about, I apologize for that, actually we want the square root of 125, which is about 11.18. So we have about 11.18, and that's how much our missing side is. One thing to keep in mind when we're doing the Pythagorean theorem is that our hypotenuse should always be the longest side. So if ever we have C is not the longest side, then we may have done something incorrect. All right, this is what we have for today. Again, use that. If there's any questions on the homework or what have you, please reach out to me via a comment on the classroom, or also you can send me an email and we'll get back to it. All right, I will return on tomorrow. Again, take some time to look over this. I hope everything is helpful. By next week, we'll be in the midst of review so that we can finish up for our final exam. Thank you all for all the hard work that you've done this semester. And again, I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow. Take care and be blessed.